So, anyway, people, how you going today? And the election is coming up. So, there is a scare campaign against Labor by the property lobbyists. So, who are they? Well, the Real Estate Institute of Australia and Property Investment Council of Australia. And they're saying that if they remove negative gearing, then rents and that's going to go up. But in this article, it specifically says there is a... So here's the actual ad. I'm not going to play that. But the Grattan Institute's member Daniel Woods has hit back saying that the actual impact will be very small and over a long period of time. Why? It's a scare campaign. It has, if it had an effect on renters, it would be over a long term, and it will be so small. If you've got fewer investors in the market, they aren't selling to investors, they're selling houses to home buyers. So you've reduced the supply and demand of investment properties. Fewer investors means fewer rental properties, but those properties don't disappear. Home buyers move in, so there are few renters also. So if you reduce the number of rental properties, it's because people who were renters are buying them. So you're reducing the number of people renting, so it actually reduces it. And negative gearing says affects only 10% of new properties. So the amount of housing relies on new properties being built. And if only 10% of that investment's going on new properties, well, it's not really going to affect the bulk of housing out there. So 90% of housing is existing housing, and 90% of the investment loans that are given out are existing housing that are negatively geared. So with only 10% for new housing, it's probably not really going to affect the rental properties so much, because 10% of housing doesn't affect the other 90% because it's already existing. So the rent's already established for those properties. So maybe there'll be a reduction in investment properties, but I don't think so, because you can buy, like in Laylaw, you can buy a house for now $500,000. You can knock it down and you can put 3 units on it, and you can sell those for like $500,000. So you got one to cover the actual, it's the original purchase. You got the second one, which will cover the actual building and everything that, and the third one will cover anything left over, but the majority of the third building would actually be profit. So it's a lot more profitable to actually build the house from scratch than it is to actually buy an old one and negatively gear it, where you lose money and you just claim tax on that one. Really, who would want to buy a house and lose money on it? Gee, that seems like a stupid thing to do, really. If you're going to buy a house, you actually really want to make money off it. You don't want to lose money. That's a really bad way to invest. Okay. So it would be implemented alongside 50% reduction in capital gains tax discount. So Labor would restrict in negative gearing being restricted to new builds. So the negatively geared housing would only be new housing, and the grandfather law would only be on existing housing. So if you want to build a house and keep it as a rental property, you can still negatively gear it. But if you want to buy an existing house and negatively gear it, you're not going to. So the incentive there is actually to buy new housing. So really, I don't see what the scare campaign is, because that would put more of the emphasis onto building newer houses instead of buying existing housing. So maybe there will be a move to build more housing. More housing would actually mean more houses to rent for renters, And if more renters are buying existing housing, then there's less renters, so there's less pressure. So there is a light at the end of the tunnel. That's why I support this. Negative gearing is just bullshit. It's a reason why, it was one of the reasons why house prices are being pushed up, because a lot of people are investing and negatively gearing to reduce their AVA taxes, and it's driving prices up. Along with probably foreign investors also helped push the prices up, and also the low interest rates definitely helped, as well as the incentives that the government gives, like the first homeowners grant. Definitely all that weighed together actually put pressure on houses. But I'm not a housing investment guru. If you want to go to someone who is, look up Walk the World on YouTube. So Walk the World with John Adams. And who's the other guy? I don't remember the other guy. So he's actually does a lot of information on this. He also does bank bailings and bank bailouts and all that stuff. So anything to do with financial matters in the economy. So it's really, this article is really just targeted at scaring people. Whether it has some truth in it, I don't know. So anyway, I'd like to say thank you very much for watching my video. And don't get scared by scare tactics from people whose main objective is money.